Okay guys, welcome back. Before we just move on to some other tutorials that we are just going to dive deep into the methods for hierarchical Bayesian analysis, we have to do some kind of housekeepings. This tutorial is going to be dedicated to deal with the categorizations of some of the features of the data. The next one we talk about some of the strategies in order to impute the missing values there. You remember when we talked about the education level, when we had the table, I should say, for them, we saw that we can just have the 6 years of being at school, 8 years, 11, and all the way going to the 23 years being at the school. And we just want to categorize that based on some intervals. And that's why I'm just going to use this function as a find interval. And I'm just going to decide to extract the education features data from the data. And I'm going to define the intervals such as this. From the 6 to 12, from 12 to 16, 16 to 18, 18 to 20, and 20 to 23. I'm just going to execute the line and categorize that feature. And also you remember the same thing that we did for the social economic status then. I'm going to again use the find interval to categorize that within, I should say, the intervals which I have defined there. However, I have two other features, which is going to be the gender, which is going to be either male or female, and also they are just going to be, I should say, the hand, if they are the participants in our study, they're just going to be right-handed, or if they're just going to be left-handed. I'm just going to use for these ones because it becomes a kind of a binary categorization. I'm just going to have an easier method compared to the find interval, I should say, function, to use the if-else function and decide that if they are just going to be, I should say, for example, if, for example, for the gender, if I say that if the data which I have, the features for the male or female, if that's going to be the male, I'm going to assign it to value 1. If this is not male, which is going to be female, I'm going to assign it to value -1. I'm just going to select this line of code, press Ctrl-Enter to execute the line. Oh, let me select all the line, Ctrl-Enter to execute the whole line. Then you see that if you just go to the data, you will see that, for example, for the male and female, if this is the male, we are just going to get number 1. If this is female, we are going to get number -1. Okay, now, and also, the other thing which we do is that we also go to the other features, which is going to be if that participant is right-handed or if he is left-handed. You see that if, I'm just going to go ahead again with the if-else function, if the hand is going to be right, if that participant in our study is right-handed, I'm going to assign value 1. If this is left-handed, I'm going to assign value as -1. I'm just going to select that line of code, execute it by pressing Ctrl-Enter, and I'm just going to go back to check the data sets. You will see that in our data sets, then I just go to the columns for the hand. I have 1, which represents that that patient or that participant is a right-handed person. Okay, and now essentially by doing that, we are done with this tutorial, which was the first stage of the housekeeping of our data, which was categorizations of some of the features, which is going to be necessary when we just do stand programming them. I will see you at the next tutorial when we talk a cool strategy to impute the missing values of our data sets. See you next.